How is everyone today? Good? Sure, me too. All right, I just want to welcome everyone to the 2024 State of the City Address. And I thank you for being here. And I want to thank the Chamber for putting this on. This is a very big room. I'm just going to say that right now. It's a very big room. This is my first State of the City Address, so I'm going to do things a little bit differently. We are going to go over what has happened in 2023 because we've had a lot of great, important things that did happen. But I also want to let everyone know a little bit about the future that I see with our city. So we'll do a little bit of the future plans for 2024 as well. We do have some elected officials in the audience today. Finance Director Molly Gilbride, Law Director Megan Raber. We also have, I think our Ward 2 Councilman Don Pavlik is here someplace. There he is. Thank you for coming. I appreciate that. We also have our Summit County Council District 6 Councilwoman, Christine Weedy-Hynum is here. School board members, Chad Davis and Mark Fairhurst. They are over there. We also have the Kiwanis Builders Club came today, and we have a nice table with their advisor, Chad Nash. Thank you very much for coming. Okay, so let's get started with this. And well, let's go back to 2023 and see all the wonderful things that Mayor David Klein did for us. A lot of accomplishments. You can see he really enjoyed the job. He's done a great job with it. Here he is with a lot of his staff, with Congresswoman Amelia Sykes, the Employee Appreciation Luncheon down here. A lot of other things that happened throughout 2023. We did have an active shooter drill that took place at the Tallmadge High School. It was very useful to get our safety forces there just to role play in case the horrific happens. The new fire station did open. The SECC, or I always call it the Consolidated Dispatch Center, that opened as well, and many other projects that we'll get into as we go through this presentation. One of the things that we do every year is a prescription drug take-back day. This is co-sponsored between the Law Department and the Tallmadge Police Department. I want to thank Megan Raber for her guidance in this. She does this every year. When we first started doing it, we had like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pounds of prescriptions that were turned in. So it has kind of dropped off a little bit because people are used to it. And there's also a box at the police station where you can go in and take your unused prescription drugs. But last year, over 300 pounds of drugs and almost 170 pounds of waste were collected. We have 2 recycling events also for electronics that we have every year. This has been done for several years. The first couple times we did it, it literally cost the city a significant amount of money to do it, and we took semi-trailers full of electronic waste out of here. We have partnered with Summit E-Waste, and they take care of all of the help during the day. They take everything out of your cars, they sort through it, they do all the recycling, and the cost to the city is basically zero because they take care of everything. And they've also placed an electronic recycling bin at the community center parking lot. So you can put some of your smaller electronics in there. Just make sure you don't set anything outside the box. Ribbon cuttings. The city was busy with new businesses last year in 2023. You can see here, Mod Wash opened up, Hairdini Hair Salon, Core Insurance Professional, Chelsea School of Dance, Bell's Barbershop, and Breakfast at Tiffany's, just to name a few. Public Service Department was very busy as well. I'd like to take this moment to thank our Public Service Director, Mike Rohr. He's responsible for all the beautification in our parks and recreation, and he's in charge of all of our services that we have here. The ARPA funds, that's the American Rescue Plan Act. It is federal funding that we received from the government because of the coronavirus pandemic. And some of the projects that the Service Department completed this year are the outdoor pickleball lights, the sidewalk connector on Monroe Road that connects East Avenue to Howell Road. We also put street lights on Southeast Avenue. That's something I've been trying to do for a number of years. It really just makes those spokes off the circle a little bit brighter, a little bit easier for the residents that live there to get in and out of their driveway, especially at night. Some other projects too were the digital sign on the circle was replaced. And then we also have drones for the police department and the fire department. When all of our projects are completed, we'll spend approximately $1.84 million, and that's all federal funding. So that was a great asset to our city. Other grants that we've received, the AMATS grants is the Akron Metropolitan Area Transportation Study. This is a funding source where we bid to receive grants for infrastructure road improvements. Last year we were awarded almost $10 million in grants and federal funding. One of them is the East Avenue project, which is East Avenue from Monroe Road to Brimfield. This widens East Avenue and puts a center turning lane in. Also, there's curbs and sidewalks and everything, so it's going to be a big project, but it also will not start until 2027. One of the other grants is resurfacing of Eastwood Avenue from Monroe Road to the city limits and resurfacing South Monroe Road from East Avenue to Perry Road. These are resurfacing projects that we're going to have to do no matter what. By putting them out to bid and going after these grants, we're able to get 90% of them covered. So that's a huge asset to the city. The street department was very, very busy last year. They did pass their EPA audit for illicit discharge. I asked, what is illicit discharge? What does that mean? It would be like an oil spill or something into your stormwater system. So they have all the processes in place and passed the EPA audit on that. They also had a 25% reduction in work orders created. This is possible because of some preventative maintenance they've done, planning, as you can see, just trained staff and so forth. What's great about this is when you have reduced work orders, it means it costs us less money. Our utilities department was also busy. They had their audit for drinking water as well and passed that EPA audit as well. We do welcome Rob Nieheiser as our new utility superintendent. Last year, we had 17 water main breaks, cleaned a bunch of sanitary sewer line, and the big thing was 0 sewer backups reported on the sanitary mains. That's fantastic. And that's basically because of all the maintenance that they do on them. Planning and zoning was very busy, as you can see, too. Over 800 permits, licenses, and certificates were issued. Residential dwellings, there are 49 residential dwellings that were started last year. Most of that was in the Tallmadge reserves. Now that area was supposed to be about a 7-year project in order to get it completely built out. And after the end of about 4 years, they've already opened up the last phase and they're almost all built out. So it was a very fast project for us. Planning and zoning is also in charge of code enforcement. As you can see, they were pretty busy. Code enforcement is your property maintenance issues, sign issues, lighting nuisances. They logged 140 new complaints this last year and closed out 149 complaints. The rec center was extremely busy as well. You can see visits keep climbing. On January 16th, it was the highest single day count. Total memberships were 7,648. Now, total visits last year were up over 25,000 from the year before. So we're increasing our membership and we're slowly getting up to 2019 numbers. So that's fantastic. Macapool, as you can see, Macapool had a little bit of dip in visits last year. A lot of that was due to, we had a lot of rainy days. We had some staffing issues, having problems getting people to come to work just like everybody else is. We also sold a limited amount of memberships last year. So we only sold 2,000 memberships last year, and we instituted membership-only days on Tuesdays. So you had to be a member in order to be there on Tuesdays. And all of this really worked out for all of the members. We are increasing the number of memberships being sold this year to, I think, 2,400, I believe is what the number is. We had some improvements done to the park as well. Emergency exits were installed, extended some fencing, and repaired the slides. And then we had our very first doggy dip event at the end of the year. So I'm looking forward to that again next year. That looks like my dog, by the way, almost. Parks and Rec is very busy. The recreation programs, pickleball continues to be a very, very popular program. We've increased programming on that last year. Family Fun Night was very well attended last year. We had record revenue, and we're going to be conducting some interviews this next year to figure out exactly what everybody wants for their fall programming for 2025. So we'll get that open to our residents. Facility and park updates. As you can see, we've been working very hard on Howell Road, Phase 2. It's going to finish early this year. We have a new pavilion that we've put in there, new restrooms, and a dog park will be opening. We did put some new entrance signs in at these 5 parks. And Lions Park also has a new pavilion, and then we also resurfaced the tennis courts and added 4 pickleball courts with that ARPA money. Memorial Park received a new pour-in-place surface. This makes that park ADA compliant. The community center has some restorations as well. As you can see, they were completed. We had a water main break in the ceiling in December of 2022, and it's taken a while to get that back up and running, but we're ready to go on that. Ritchie Memorial Shelter received surveillance cameras, and the rec center added new lockers in the men's locker rooms, had an exterior sign put on the building, which I think looks really great, and purchased some new spin bikes and weight plates. Public safety is always busy. I want to thank all of our public safety officials that are here today. As you can see, EMS and fire has remained pretty steady over the last couple years. Our calls for service on the police side have increased a little bit. A lot of that is due to the new software at the dispatch center, and some of it is due to a new safety initiative that former Chief Williams instituted in April of 2023. And Chief Bohan is going to keep this going. So it looks like there's more calls to service, but there's a reason. There's more patrolling going on, and the whole software part as well. We did welcome Chief Bohan as our newest police chief. He has 24 years of service with the Tallmadge Police Department. Started off as a patrol sergeant, patrol officer, moved his way up to sergeant, detective, and captain before becoming our chief. And he was awarded 3 times the Outstanding Officer Award for the Summit County Prosecutor's Office. We also have a promotion of Dave Chicola to sergeant, and we hired new patrol officers, Officer Aaron Godown and Officer Jeremy Lampley. Sergeant Patrick Fairhurst was recognized by the U.S. Attorney's Office in the state of Rhode Island, and you're wondering why in Rhode Island. He had a case where a 60-year-old Tallmadge woman reported that she had been scammed out of $60,000. So he started the investigation. It ended up being an international fraud case. He identified 11 additional victims across various states of the country, and it led to this federal investigation. There were actually over 100 victims altogether. 6 suspects were identified in this case. 5 of those were federally charged and convicted, and the last one is on the loose out of the country. So, but the U.S. District Attorney's Office did give him a special award on that. So congratulations to him. School Resource Officer Dave Quillen, he's over here in the corner. Our SROs do a great job. He was recognized as a master SRO by the Ohio School Resource Officers Association. So congratulations again. Thank you very much. A lot of the people in this room are very much aware of this cold case that was broken by Chief Bohan and Sergeant Chicola. They were honored with the Distinguished Service Award for their roles in this cold case conviction. I really don't want to go into the details of it. It did have the initial murder happened in 1970, and there were 2 bodies that were in conjunction with in Tallmadge. But they were just recently featured. The program is called On the Case with Paula Zahn. It's in the Discovery, in the Investigation Discovery Channel, and they appeared just last week, and so that will be available to stream live on Hulu Live, Amazon Prime, and HBO Max. So you can go to one of those streaming devices and watch them on TV. It's pretty cool. Full-time firefighters. We did hire a new firefighter last year, Mike Snyder. I know we have a couple more in the pipe as we speak, so both full and part-time will be coming as well. Fire prevention. Our fire prevention division is staffed by the fire marshal and state certified fire inspectors. They're responsible for a lot. You can see all the different inspections that they do. Food truck inspections too. I didn't even know that was a thing. They do a lot of training hours, and they provide safety education programs for our citizens in schools as well. One of these programs, Firefighter Sandy, came up with this competition between the police, the fire department, and the Parks and Rec department, where you painted a rock and then put them in a different line at the rec center to make these safety snakes. Of course, the police department won with 567 rocks. I thought that was a lot. So I want to thank Firefighter Sandy very much for putting this fun activity together. And that just ties into all the things that Firefighter Sandy does throughout the city. She visits with senior citizens, with youth organizations and businesses to help educate our community on fire safety. So we're very fortunate to have her as well. Summit Ready. The city of Tallmadge was honored by Summit County Emergency Management Association as the first community to achieve Summit Ready certification. It's a very prestigious certification, and to be one of the first communities is amazing, but because of our wonderful safety services that we have here, it's not unexpected. This program does help to keep us increased readiness and preparedness in case something were to happen. The 9/11 Memorial. I know everybody in this room loves how the circle looks when all the candles are up here. It's one of my favorite memorials that we have. It was started in 2022 by a couple firemen that wanted to pay tribute to the firemen that lost their lives at that horrific attack on September 11th. So it started off with just flags being put off the circle. The next year in 2023, we started with a couple candles off the circle. And it has completely exploded to this wonderful memorial that I'm very proud of. There's a total of 2,976 candles that line the sidewalks of Tallmadge Circle Park. 343 red ones represent the firefighters that lost their lives on that day. 60 blue candles represent the police officers. 55 represent military personnel. 2,518 white candles were for the citizens that all lost their lives on that fateful day. Station number 2, we can see the old Station 2 came down finally. That was on April 13th of 2023, because 1 month prior, on St. Patty's Day, we had occupancy and we were running calls out of wonderful Station 2. Thank you, Mayor Klein, for everything that you did to get this done and to get those beautiful red doors. I know our law department had something to do with that as well, so thank you, Megan. And then we did, in November, we had our great open house at Station 2. It was open to the whole community, and there were a lot of people in attendance that day. Station 2 does allow for additional training that we can do. You can see the rope rescue training. It's actually, they were able to do this before, but not quite as safely as they can do it now. So I'm very appreciative of this. For the training. The confined space training, you guys can have that. I don't think I could handle that at all. And we also opened the Summit Emergency Communications Center, or as I call it, again, the Consolidated Dispatch Center. This was Mayor Klein's little baby, as I call it. He took 20 years of, we need to get this going. We need to get this going. We need to do this. And it finally did happen. It is a combination, a council of governments that consists of Tallmadge, Stowe, Fair Lawn, Cuyahoga Falls, and Summit County Sheriff's Department. And we run the center. We have all of our dispatch going through that center, and we can contract with other communities to come in as well. So right now they're contracting with Mogador, Monroe Falls, Boston Heights, Silver Lake, and Summit Metro Parks. And we're in the talks with Copley at this time too. What a lot of people don't know is the city of Akron brought all of their dispatching into this building as well. So the city of Akron is dispatching all of their police and fire out of this facility. And another thing that a lot of people don't know is they have those same red doors on order, but they don't have them yet. So that was a wrap on 2023. Now I'd like to take a little bit of time to discuss my vision for our wonderful city. And everyone knows over the last year of my campaigning, I have 5 pillars that are part of my strategic plan to operate the city. They're economic development, enhancing our services, resident quality of life, fiscal responsibility, and communications, increasing communications. So everything we do going forward is going to have these 5 pillars integrated into them. For economic development, in my opinion, it is the single most important function of our city because it is essential for our financial stability. We're expanding our contract with Insight Advisory Group, who is our current economic development team. They're working with us in the city to help develop and promote our business sector. So anyone, especially in this room, if you have any type of expansion ideas or having any difficulties and want to bounce something off of, one of our economic development teams, please get in contact with my office. Insight is very prepared to come in and help. They have access to a lot of grants and programs, and they're a really big asset to our team. So they're very busy working with businesses right now to foster growth within Tallmadge. We're going to try to bring new businesses in, and we're going to try to develop our commercial aspects of our city as well. Our Tallmadge Brimfield JED is extremely important to us. That's where a major part of our growth is right now. It brings in $1.6 million is just the Tallmadge portion. So we get half of the income tax from that portion. The tax rate right now for 2024 is 1.75%, and that is a step-up increment, and by I think it's 2029, we'll be at 2.25%. These are some of the new businesses that came in 2023, and there's continuing to be great expansion going into 2024. Our planning and zoning is doing their share of to promote economic development as well. We do have overlay districts that allow for expansion of our zoning uses, and we're putting those overlay districts, we're putting them out to bid right now to help elevate our business community. Those overlay districts are the Innovation and Employment Overlay District. That is primarily where our manufacturing and our warehouse facilities are already located. We have Neighborhood Center Overlay Districts, and these are districts that can go in a couple places throughout the city, and it's where you want to blend residential and commercial use, where it makes sense, like putting a small business, like a coffee shop next to a residential area. The Southeast Gateway Overlay District is intended in the area of Southeast Avenue and I-76. And then the West Avenue Overlay District, this is for the mixed use along West Avenue and the commercial corridor. It'll create a very clean, inviting streetscape. This is the one that I'm actively working to try to get started now. I've already had meetings with the city of Akron because West Avenue is our corridor to Akron. It's their corridor to Tallmadge as well. So we're starting the discussions now to work and really promote that area and make it a great place for everybody. Another one of the things that I really want to do is establish a business incubator. I understand this is probably not going to happen in my first year, but it is my goal within the first couple years. I want it to be a place where we can have our small businesses come and sell their products or their services. It's a great pipeline for small business development. And then another item that I want to start is an arts council in our city plan. I think it's very important to have a place where we can consolidate all of our nonprofits, which we do have a lot of artistic nonprofits in our city, but we need to bring them all together where we can work together and coordinate the programs. The Tallmadge Rec Center is doing their fair share to increase economic development within the city as well. They partnered with the Akron and Summit County Visitors Board to bring in a wheelchair basketball tournament that was a couple weeks ago. It was very, very well attended. It brought a lot of people into our community. We have 4 Taekwondo tournaments that are going to be hosted by Asian Sun. That's going to bring an amazing amount of people into our city. And we're going to continue to partner with these tournament hosts year after year just to bring people into the city to show everyone what we have here in Tallmadge. When you bring people in, then other businesses like to come in as well. So we're continuing to brainstorm new ideas and bring more people into our community. Enhanced services. One of the neatest services that we're bringing to our city, in my opinion, that's really going to enhance all of our services is the flock cameras. A flock camera reads license plates. It reads the license plates and it will send like that instant alert to law enforcement when that license plate has been determined that it was an interest to the police department. So just as a little example, we have those on order. We don't have them actually installed yet, but because we have them on order, we have access to that database. And even before they were installed, the Tallmadge Police Department was able to solve a double shooting within 3 hours of the event using the flock system. They were able to identify the suspect vehicle, and it allowed the law enforcement to locate, detain, and apprehend that suspect who was still in possession of that weapon. That happened on my first day in office, people. And it was amazing how, we got the information and then they're like, the flock cameras in the area communities is where we were able to track this person. The utilities department, their way that they're enhancing their services is by increasing the upkeep on our largest, most important asset, our water tower. The water tower is over 40 years old, which I can't believe because I was in high school when it was put in. So it's a multi-year project in order to revamp it and reconstruct it. Outside cleaning, painting, ventilation, tower access, so forth. Over the next couple of years, there'll be external cleaning and painting, and essentially it'll give us a brand new City of Tallmadge water tower. And why is this the most important asset? This houses all of our drinking water. It's 1 million gallons of drinking water in this tank. And I've learned so much about water in this job. Also enhancing our services is using a GIS system. The GIS system uses GPS coordinates to locate and mark all of our utilities, like our sewer lines, our water lines, our hydrants, and so forth. So it uses a GPS coordinates to locate all of these, and it's all put into a system. So when there's a water main break and we're like, okay, I think the pipe is in this area, now they can be within inches instead of within feet. So that will help us out a lot with efficiencies and usefulness to the public. Planning and zoning is also enhancing our services. They have started a new online submittal portal for all of their zoning, utilities, and code enforcements. This is called OpenGov, and it's a software program. It makes it extremely easy to update files in real time. Our contractors can upload their files instead of bringing papers in and having them scanned and put into our system. And it's really just a great way to make things easier for our citizens. It's also used for code enforcement. So on the front of our website, there's a button that says report a concern. It goes right into the software program and then right into our zoning department. Another enhanced service is in the Tallmadge Cemetery. So as we all know, our Tallmadge Cemetery has finite limits. We're close to being completely built out, and there's smaller sections within the cemetery that we can't put full plots in. So we're going to use these smaller areas and have them preset with in-ground burial vaults for cremains instead of full burials. So this is a great way to use every little bit of our cemetery. Parks and Rec Department is trying to also enhance our services by making some changes with our summer camp. The new age groups were added to serve more people. Instead of it being, I think it was like 5 to 7, I think it's now 5 to 6 and 6 to 7. They did change the age groups a little bit to make smaller sizes. The residents that need the summer camp for full childcare are going to now receive priority to sign up so that we don't have the instance of, okay, let's sign up for summer camp and 10 people come in and they take 1 week here and 1 week there, and then you have families that can't get the whole 9 weeks. So that was a great enhanced service that Jessica has done at the Parks and Rec Department. We're also adding the new sports and fitness coordinator. That person was just recently hired. It was a hire from within, which I love, and they're responsible for creating new programming and improving our current programming. Police department is increasing our resident quality of life by working to formalize the coordination of community relations. So they have a couple activities and programs that they're going to, some of them have already been enacted and some of them they're just expanding. We've got the Citizens Police Academy, Safety School, National Night Out, Police Explorers Program, Neighborhood Watch, and community meetings. To improve parks and services based on the Park Master Plan, we do have plans to finish out Lions Park and Howell Road. And these are always evolving based on our budget, but these are things that we do want to improve our resident quality of life. Fiscal responsibility. This is extremely important to me. After 35 years as a office manager / controller for a small business, I'm very concerned about every penny that goes into any type of a business that I'm responsible for. So working with our finance department, we are developing long-term strategies to control costs and pursue savings. We're going to create a plan of action to continue funding our safety forces and create a citywide 5-year financial plan. These are the 2024 final appropriation totals. As you can see, it costs over $46 million to run the city. Just as a comparison, in 2010, our appropriations were around $32 million. A lot of this is due to inflation, increased and enhanced services that we provide. And we're able to do this because of the fiscal responsibility of the previous administration. Thank you very much. And our finance director, Molly Gilbride. Her expertise really keeps us on track. We're really fortunate to have her as well. Our income tax revenue, as you can see, we've stayed right around 14 million. The past couple years, we're projecting that as well. This is the 2% income tax that we receive from the businesses here in Tallmadge. And this is what we use that goes into the general fund to fund a lot of our programs. This excludes the safety service income tax. If you remember, the safety service income tax was that 0.25% increase that we voted on and enacted in 2020. So this excludes that. And we're very fortunate to have the strong business base that we do to have this type of an income come in. The safety service income tax revenue is that 0.25%, and this is used specifically for safety service, and this helps fund their capital items. So this helps fund the bond retirement on the fire station, the new fire trucks that are on order and that we have, the new police cars. This is all of the capital items come out of this fund. The Tallmadge Rec Center is also being very fiscally responsible. They're making sure that their programs align with cost recovery goals and that they're priced accordingly. They do have a replacement plan for their playground equipment and structures. It's always in the budget before it's needed. Part of their 5-year plan includes the following: replace the tile floor in the lobby, which, I mean, the rec center is 20 years old. It's about time that gets replaced. Turf on the soccer field, and you can see the rest. The rubber court, there's one of the courts has a rubber coating on it instead of a regular basketball floor, so that's why that's getting repaired in the next 5 years. Communications, as you guys know, this is very, very important to me. We have Andrea Kidder. She's the backbone to communications within our city. I have tasked each department to coordinate their communication with Andrea so that we can project a clear and concise message to our citizens. We do have the following social media platforms that we do push out news on our city services and information, but we need to increase that communication. We don't have the Tallmadge Express anymore. That has been a huge stumbling block. It's been a very big void that we're trying to fill in our community. The Parks and Rec is also doing their bit with communications. They have started an app for any of their programs, and you can see on your tables, which I don't think there's any on this table, but I know there's on other tables, there's postcards that has a QR code about the Parks and Rec app. It makes it very easy for you to register for programs. You can store your memberships, you can manage your accounts. This can all be downloaded in both Apple and Android phones. Again, communication extremely important to me. So within my first 80 days of being mayor, I coordinated with the Tallmadge City Schools, and we're putting together a quarterly newsletter to share what's happening within the city. It's called the Tallmadge Circular, and it should be hitting your mailboxes within the next couple days. I want to thank Kelly Christopher at the Tallmadge City Schools for helping with this newsletter. I'd like to thank Steve Wood as well for your cooperation with this. You will see this come out, like I said, in the next couple of days. We're also using the journalism class at the schools in order to write articles, and I just think that's a great way to help with that partnership within the city and the school districts. I'm also instituting, I have instituted after hours with the mayor. It's typically the 4th Thursday of every month. I'll be at City Hall from 4 to 6 o'clock. It's usually before a council meeting, and anybody that wants to come and have a conversation with me can come. Any business, any resident, anybody. I just want to maintain that open door. But I am going to cancel one meeting, and that's next week's meeting, only because it's spring break, And it's Holy Week, and I really want to go to church on Holy Thursday, okay? So I'm going to cancel this week. So I would love to see all of you the fourth Thursday of April. Here's some of our upcoming events. We start off in March 30th with the Easter Egg Scramble, go all the way down to August 10th, our Circle Festival and Light Parade, which I know Becky is working very hard on. Thanks for all your help on that. That is the highlight of my summer as well. Again, I'd like to thank some of our elected officials, Megan Raber, Molly Gilbride. These two ladies, we can't do anything in the city without their hands being on them. They're really brilliant, and I appreciate all their help. Our council people here today, like I said, Donald Pavlock is here. These are our other elected officials. And I want to thank all of our boards and commissions. We have a number of boards and commissions within the city, and they're all members of our community that volunteer their time to advance the vision of our city. And we couldn't do it without them. So I want to thank everybody. I know there's a couple of them here in the room as well. And anybody that would have an interest to being on one of the boards and commissions, please let me know, because there's always an opening someplace, and it's really hard to find people that have the passion for the city that we have. Thank you very much for your time today. Like I said, my doors are always open. Give me a call, come to my after hours. It's been my honor and privilege to be here today, and I'm so honored to be your 18th Mayor of Tallmadge.